Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome to my channel. My name is Luana and this video is going to be a complete masterclass in healing twin flame communication blockages. Now, I've been an intuitive reader and healer for over 4 years now, and this is one of the most common issues that my clients come to me with. They have a twin flame or really high level soulmate relationship and there's communication issues or blockages or separation. So I'm basically taking all the advice and the information and the wisdom I have and condensing it all into this one video. This is going to be a super informational video packed with a lot of practical advice as well. And I'm also going to explain what communication blockages are on an energy level, how to heal them, how to resolve them for good. And I literally made an outline for this video because there's so much information here. I usually just sit down and record these videos, but I thought I'd make an outline here, so we're going to use that. So let us begin with what communication blockages actually look like. So this can look like being blocked, being ignored, strained communication, miscommunication, misunderstanding each other, having arguments, verbal conflict, lack of communication, lack of healthy communication. So maybe there's communication there, but it's like just toxic and dysfunctional communication. And this can make us feel sad and abandoned, unheard, misunderstood, and really hopeless, you know? Because communication is ruled by the throat chakra, that is also our power center. So when we're not able to have healthy communication, that also affects how powerful we feel and how capable we feel of actually creating the relationship and the life that we want. So communication blockages with your twin flame come about because of throat chakra blockages, not being able to speak your truth to the world, not being able to be seen for who you truly are, not communicating with internal parts of yourself, not being able to meet your own needs. So it really is an internal issue as well as an external issue. So let's talk about the meat and bones of this video. How do you actually fix these issues when they're manifesting internally and externally? You're going to primarily fix and heal these blockages using something called parts work. Parts work is similar to inner child healing, where in the philosophy of parts work, you're recognizing that you're not just one person. You are an individual with many different parts of your consciousness within you. When we experience trauma, our consciousness fragments into multiple parts. So there might be a part of you that is very stuck at 5 years old. There might be a part of you that's very frozen in time at 17. And you know, these parts might have been stuck at that point in time and they didn't have the opportunity to fully mature and grow and heal. And they have very different worldviews, very different perspectives, very different needs and feelings. So when you are experiencing internal conflict over something, or even when you're like one moment you really like this one thing and the next moment you don't like it anymore, that's usually because you're cycling through different internal parts within you. It's kind of like having a bunch of different versions of you all inside, and what happens when you're seeing external communication issues with your twin flame is they're basically mirroring to these internal parts of you that aren't communicating with each other or are stuck in trauma. So to do parts work and to begin this process of healing, it's essentially getting to know these different aspects of you that are not agreeing on things, beginning to build a dialogue and to talk with them. This will restore you to so much inner peace, so much bliss and inner trust and happiness and self-reliability. This also repairs your ability to speak out your truth to the world. Because when all of you is in harmony and when all of you is in agreement, you have the self-support to be able to be who you want to be. I also want to mention I do parts work. I offer it as a healing service on my website. So if you're interested in getting one-on-one support, I will link that all in the description. So let's talk about and walk through a tangible exercise of how we're going to heal a communication blockage. First thing you want to do is to use your twin flame, what is happening externally with them, as an accurate mirror to see what is happening inside of you. Let's use the first example of your twin flame is ignoring you. The first thing that you want to do is notice how they're treating you and notice how it's making you feel. You really want to hone in on that feeling. And if you have a specific example of your twin flame and communication issues, I recommend you do that with me now as we're going to walk through the example. So just bring something up and notice how it's making you feel that there is a lack of communication or dysfunctional communication or no communication. How is that making you feel? Probably making you feel pretty rotten, right? Maybe you're feeling betrayed and let down by your twin flame. Really hone into that feeling. And then I want you to conceptualize the idea that your twin flame is treating you this way or ignoring you this way or letting you down in this way because there's an internal part of you that is completely mirroring how they're making you feel. So if you feel betrayed by your twin flame, in what way could an internal part of you be betraying another part of you? I'm gonna give you an example. So let's say there's a person and they're being ignored by their twin flame, and then they're feeling really upset and let down and really like angry about it. So when this person goes within and gets in touch with that anger and those feelings of betrayal, what they notice comes up for them is that there's this deeper worry and this deeper fear that their twin flame doesn't care about them, or their twin flame thinks that they're too much. They feel very disregarded and kind of abandoned by their twin flame. In this example, you would look for that aspect of you within that is doing that to yourself. And you might find as you're doing this inquiry where you're really having this internal dialogue and asking yourself questions, in this example, this person whose twin flame is ignoring them and letting them down and abandoning them might find that there's an older, more stoic part of them that is kind of pushing down the needs, the wants, and the voice of an inner child part of them. Like maybe there's a part of them that is very creative and outgoing and expressive, but because this older part of them, let's say they had a negative experience in high school, they completely like shut down their emotional expression, and they're just blocking that part of them from expressing themselves and being happy. And that part feels really abandoned and betrayed and almost like shoved in a box, because that's kind of what has happened in this example. Is because of these negative experience, let's say, happened in school, this older part didn't feel safe expressing the inner child, and so the inner child got totally pushed aside and like locked away, and the key was thrown away. So in this example, and this is going to be different for everyone, I want you to apply this to what is going on with you and your connection. In this example, you would allow that inner child part of you to be free and to even say to that part, you know, I'm so sorry for locking you up and abandoning you and making you feel like you're not important, and slowly begin to give that inner child part of you space to exist and to be free again. You'll notice as you're doing this naturally, and this could take, you know, maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes of really sitting there and just feeling into it. It really kind of is a meditation. You'll notice that that tension and that worry and that anxiety kind of just naturally falls away, and that internal conflict begins to heal, and you start to feel this internal communication through all of these different parts of you. Make sure that as the older aspect of you, that you are paying attention to what this inner child part of you needs. So ask it like, what do you need? Like, what do you want from me? What can I do for you? What can I provide for you? How can I make you feel safe? How can I make you feel special? How can I make you feel loved? Those are all questions that you literally want to be asking that part of you and then waiting for its response. And you're probably going to feel so much relief once you're doing this process. So that is how to do parts work. And again, if you need one-on-one support with this, I do offer parts work sessions on my website. You can grab that in the description. Now I want to move on to the second method to heal communication blockages. And I'm saying second method, but I really actually recommend you use an amalgamation of all of these depending on what your intuition is telling you that you need in that moment. I know personally I've used all of these. I would always recommend to clients that they use all these different methods. The second thing that I recommend is energy healing, specifically energy healing with the violet flame. Saint Germain's violet flame to be specific. So the thing with communication is it's ruled by the throat chakra. You and your twin flame are resonating energetically through all of your chakra centers. So if you heal something within you, it's going to heal in them as well. If the person that you're having issues with is a twin flame or a very high level soulmate, I almost guarantee that you have dozens, if not hundreds, of past lives with them. The thing about past life experiences is you can probably guess that in the past, in different time periods, we were very different than we are in this life. There were times when people were murdered just for speaking their mind, for being in love. And this, by the way, is still happening in certain parts of the world. These are all really heavy karmic energies that are stored as negative experiences within your soul and your being. So let's say you had a past life where you and your twin flame were not allowed to communicate, or one of you was really restricted and controlled in what they could say, and that affected your relationship. Well, if you don't heal that in that lifetime, it is going to carry into the next lifetime, into the present lifetime. So past life blockages are another huge thing that I see people experience. I used to do a lot of past life readings for clients, and communication blockages, specifically the throat chakra, was like the most nefarious chakra issue of any other chakra center. It's always the throat chakra causing these kinds of issues. Saint Germain's violet flame is a really high level of energy and frequency that clears karma and heals past life issues, and you can also use it to clear and rewrite your Akashic records, which is where all these patterns stem from and can carry to this life. So yeah, past life karma, use the violet flame to heal this, to send literally healing to all your past lives with the intention to clear all that throat chakra karma, transmute all those issues. But seriously, there's something with, not to sound like an alien, but like just from like an objective perspective, the human race and throat chakra and power issues is like the number one thing I think you'll ever see as an energy healer or as a reader. It's like we, for some reason, have so many issues with power, and that is all throat chakra stuff. And I think that's why it gets so convoluted. That's why we have so many, even at this present time, so many societal issues around like politics, public speaking, cancel culture. Like throat chakra stuff is so prevalent. So the more healing you can do on this, the better. I have a free twin flame, violet flame healing guided meditation on my website. You can go download that to get started. And I also offer energy healing sessions on my website if you want one-on-one support. The last thing that I want to talk about that is kind of like the wrapper to tie everything together. It's like the cherry on top, like the bow when you're finishing wrapping a present. But it is forgiveness, and let's talk about this a little bit. In my experience, and I know that when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like it, but in my experience, and this is really my belief system, if this person really is your twin flame, communication blockages and issues are one huge misunderstanding and miscommunication. When our twin flame is not communicating with us, when we have communication issues, even if they said some nasty stuff to us, even if we said nasty stuff to them, you will see that at the core, you didn't really mean any of it, right? And your twin flame really didn't mean any of it. At the core of the twin flame relationship, it is founded upon unconditional love. And so anything that is happening on the surface of the connection that seems really bad or really triggering, it's from trauma, it's from pain. And it's so important to just humanize your twin flame and to humanize yourself in that way. This goes for you if you're dealing with regret. I actually feel like a lot of the people watching this will be dealing with guilt and regret in some capacity. It's so important to realize that if you've made mistakes, that is okay. We're human beings. We're never, ever in a million years gonna live a perfect life. We're here to make mistakes, and we're gonna mess up, and it's gonna be messy, and it's gonna be emotional, it's gonna hurt people. But that doesn't mean that we should just halt our lives and spend the rest of our lives punishing ourselves for mistakes that we've made, right? Human beings are like learning machines. You're not gonna know what the right thing to do is until you've made mistakes and you've learned. So that's a really important mindset shift that I would recommend that you make. This mindset shift in itself is healing. This will help you heal communication blocks with your twin flame. This is so important because if you followed along earlier and did the parts work with us, you'll likely find that there's a part of you that hurt yourself, right? And the only way that you can move forward is to be willing to forgive yourself, right? Let's go back to that example that I gave earlier about, that cynical, older, jaded part of you that suppressed the inner child. Well, that part of you only did that because it experienced hurt and it was trying to protect itself. It believed at some point in that person's life, in this example's life, that it wasn't safe to express that inner child, creative, joyful, expressive part, because that is vulnerability. And it was seeing, or it did experience, that someone in the external world, some kind of judgment, could hurt that part. So even though this part of you ended up hurting yourself and abandoning yourself, you were only doing that because you wanted to protect yourself. And I really want you to be able to make that internal realization and then look in the outside world at your twin flame and realize, okay, they might not be acting in the way that I want them to or that felt good, but can I see how in their humanity they were doing that either because they're reacting on an emotional level, they didn't feel safe. Maybe if this is a situation where you're in a separation, maybe your twin flame genuinely thinks and believes that it's better to be apart right now. Like maybe they really feel like that's the only way to not lose you or lose the connection or lose themselves or whatever's going on. But if you can have this deep compassion and understanding and realize that all along, even if it didn't feel good, and even if it doesn't have to stay like this, there was some reason for all of these things happening. And let me tell you, that is the perspective that will bring you so much healing from grief and pain. Just like you were only doing the best for yourself, you were only doing as much as you're capable of, so was your twin flame, in the sense that they mirrored that to you, right? Really try to not victimize yourself. Human beings can get in this state where we victimize ourselves. We feel like, oh, woe is me, all these bad things are happening to me, I feel so bad for myself, but really try not to get into that mentality. Because if you do that, you're throwing away all of your power. And when you throw away all of your power, you are forfeiting your ability to make any change in your life and in your twin flame connection. You didn't have bad intentions. Your twin flame didn't have bad intentions. And you know what? Maybe if there were bad intentions there, maybe on some level that part of you thought, being evil is the only way to survive. Being a bad guy is the only way to be safe in this world. And from my perspective, that is also a valid reason to make mistakes. So have this forgiving, loving attitude. It's the only way to heal these blockages. And lastly, realize that holding on to resentment, the only reason that you would ever try and hold on to resentment is because you're scared and you're trying to hold up a shield around you from preventing it from happening again. But the more that you hold on to that experience, the more times that it's going to manifest in your reality. So it really is safe to just let it go, because you are safe. The universe is on your side. Your spirit guides are supporting you. Your twin flame connection in itself is from unconditional love, and it also wants to strive towards healing. So it is safe to just trust the process and to let your guard down and realize that you're not going to be hurt again. And even if for whatever reason you do experience hurt again, it might just be that that is another trigger happening, which is an opportunity for healing. And if you can begin to see it from that perspective, you'll actually see how when every single time a trigger happens, it's actually moving you towards your desired outcome, which is healing, which is eventually getting everything you want. So I'm going to give a really quick recap, but I encourage you to maybe go through this video a few times, go through the process, really absorb it, really take it in. It's a really big perspective shift, and it's very different from what society teaches us to do. Right? Society will teach you to blame the external, but this is really about taking responsibility and claiming all your power and making real change in your life, like real lasting change. And this is the only way to do that, is to take responsibility. So first thing, you want to use your twin flame connection as a mirror. What are they showing me? How are they making me feel? Second thing is, you want to look for what internal aspect of you your twin flame is mirroring to you. You want to look for the part of you that has been pushed down or repressed or ignored or abandoned, however you're feeling. You want to bring healing and reconciliation between these two parts. This is parts work. You also want to explore energy healing with the violet flame, specifically for throat chakra issues, specifically past life blockages. And I have a free violet flame healing on my website. Do that meditation, do it as many times as you need, maybe once a day. The last thing is forgiveness is so important. Make sure that you make that final perspective shift to really solidify and heal all these blockages. And I promise you, if you follow all these steps and you give it your all, you will see a true change in your external world. It won't just reflect in your twin flame having better communication with you. You're gonna have better communication with everyone. And trust me, I've gone through massive throat chakra issues, dysfunctions, wounds in my life, and I have seen communication improve in literally every single area of my life with every single person. So it is massively healing overall, and it's gonna make you feel way more empowered. You're gonna have so much more clarity, and you're gonna realize that you were in control of everything the whole time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from this. Hope it was illuminating and healing and reassuring. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And again, all those downloads are on my website, or if you want to book support sessions with me, that is also on my website. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.